My total data output and bitrate numbers coming back up. All right, we're back. All right. All right, I'm going to give it a few minutes. Oh, hey, I've got a couple of viewers back. Yay. So I think at this point, since I don't really have any other games prepared or anything else like that, I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and stop chat, or stop stream. I mean, we can hang out for a few more minutes and then I'll stop it at 1. Unless there's anything else. Is there anything else anyone wants me to do while we're here? Why is the chat widget in OBS being weird? All right, so let's go to Tools, View Docs. Let's open chat. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. There we go. Now we're connected to chat. Now I can see. Yay. All right. So yeah, learning curve starting here, trending upward. Yay. All right. So I've learned that Back for Blood does not like running with OBS. I'm wondering if part of what's going on, if they updated the beta code and I just didn't get the latest update, if I'm still running on the old install. I mean, it's a moot point as far as I know. It's only available to play for another couple of days. So I'll have to look into that. All right. Oh, I still have a nice cup of tea here too. All right. So yeah, since I have 2 of you back, thank you for coming back, for sticking with me. What do we want to talk about for a few minutes before we hit 1 o'clock, and then I'll just call it early. And then I'm going to have the fun of getting to stitch together the different stream stuff into a single VOD. That'll be fun. Yes. At least the recording piece of it didn't blow up until after I'd done the Lego piece, because that's the one that I really want to put together and trim it down into a YouTube video to put out. All right. Okay, since the plans for Back for Blood are obviously not going to work, it's not behaving with OBS. I mean, I suppose I could go back into Bedrock Minecraft and run around and do some stuff for a while, but I don't really have the things that I was looking at doing there, the last projects I was going to work on. I don't really have anything set up, so I mean, I suppose I could just go or we could I could pick up the guitar and we could do some more music. If you want me to do that, we could go take a look at the other Jonathan Colton song that I originally, the Nobody Loves You Like Me. We could do that, chat, if that's what you want me to do, to feel like you're getting your money's worth. We could always do that. Let's see. All right. So there we are. We've got the Nobody Loves You Like Me. Now, so this one, I am less inclined. Wait a minute. Why is this? Oh, it's because the window is sized way wrong for this monitor. All right. So now I'll be able to scroll. All right. So, yeah, so this one I change the key on when I do it because it's a little bit more difficult. All right, so let me get my guitar on, which means taking the headset off first, so I'll be right back. Alrighty then. So just as a minor aside, oh shit. Well, so much for getting a mat to smooth out the floors on the chair. It's not working so well. Alright. So just as a gaming chairs aren't so great for playing guitar in. I really need something a little taller or to stand. But oh, something sounds a little out of tune, so let's check real fast. Quite right. There we go. There we go. That sounds better. All right. All right, so question for you if you are guitar players. When you played the G chord, the open G chord, when I learned it, I learned the 3-finger variety. So index on 2nd fret of the 5th string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Okay? In my lessons, I've been seeing them do the 4-finger variety. So it's the same thing except you move your ring finger up to the second string, 3rd fret, and your pinky then goes on 1st string, 3rd fret. And it just kind of gives a little bit, just reinforces the notes in the chord, gives it kind of a little bit more richer sound. The other thing that it does is it puts you in a position where you can just take your top 2 fingers and move them down a fret, and now you're in this lovely C, I think it's C9 chord. So the open C is normally this, but so you have the C9, which gives for certain songs, certain transitions, it really transitions well with the G because it shares those 2 upper notes. Well, actually the top 3 strings are the same for both of those. Like you'll see this in Wanted Dead or Alive. It's the and you come into the and then that's where you come into that C9, then the 4-fingered G, and then back to the D. And so it just makes for an easier transition as opposed to okay. So I've been playing around with that, and they pointed out that this is the G, the 4-fingered G, and the C9 is kind of the every rose has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn. Anyway, so yeah, corny song. Fun fact: my junior year in my high school, my junior class was the one that that put on the senior prom. Because the seniors were organizing and paying for a bunch of other stuff, so it was up to the juniors to do the prom. And we actually had a couple of people, because that song by Poison had come out relatively recently, and we had people who wanted Every Rose Has Its Thorn as our prom theme. Because apparently they didn't understand the lyrics of the song, which is that, well, every rose has its thorn. There's a downside to every... They thought that was going to be a great prom theme because they liked the song. The song was so pretty. Cooler heads prevailed. So that was not our prom theme. But that makes me laugh to this day that, yeah, okay, yeah, that's a great song for prom. Good job. But I just love the sound of it. It's not suitable for everywhere you play a C chord, but it's definitely, it's a nice variation. And if you're transitioning between like G, C, and D, that can be a nice flow there. So if you didn't already know about that variant, play with it. It's a lot of fun. All right, so where I was going with all of this is, so we've got Nobody Loves You Like Me. We've got the tab and lyrics thrown out. Well, not tab. It's basically just the chords thrown up for Nobody Loves You Like Me. And I do tend to play it in the key of G rather than in the key of F. I also tend to finger pick it a little. Here at the bar, who cares what I do? But the problem is that's a little high to sing. So, I don't like, so, here at the bar, who, so that's playing in the key of C, so that's a little bit more singable. So let's see what we do with, so the problem with doing it in the key of F is when we get down into the chorus, then we're starting to have to play with B flat and the G minor. So I let's do it in C. Here at the bar, who cares what I do? I'm all alone, but I'm drinking for two, drowning the man that I used to be. Nobody loves you like me. And it's kind of... so during the verse, I mean, I see part of the reason why Jonathan does this one a cappella. One, he gets that wonderful... I forget what the name of the plugin is. It's put out by Native Instruments, and you can't buy the plugin anymore by itself, but it's part of another package, and I still haven't tracked down what it is. I do want to get it. It's a wonderful effect. You basically use it kind of roboticizes your... oh, hell, you know what? This is Creative Commons. I'll just go ahead and pull it up, and we'll play it. We'll play it so you can hear what I'm talking about, because this song is just... it's just haunting. Just gorgeous. All right. So this is the official video, and this is what I was talking about. All right, so let's do this, chat. I'm going to go full screen on this.
Here at the bar, who cares what I do? I'm all alone, but I'm drinking for two, drowning the man that I used to be. Nobody loves you like me. I won't sign a thing, or else if I do, I'll use a pencil and that will show you how nothing lasts, how nothing is free. Nobody loves you like me. I shouldn't stay, I think you'll agree. It's no good for you, no better for me. In the morning I'll go to a place far away, somewhere you'll never find me. I catch a look, a thing that you say, out on the fire escape, smoking all day, missing someone. Now who could it be? Nobody loves you like me. Noises outside, the trucks in the street will cover my flight, my heroes retreat. I'm supposed to feel bad, but I don't anymore, only when you remind me. Air in my lungs, a cough and a wheeze, holes in the bellows and blood on the keys. You move along, there's nothing to see. Nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me.
All right, so that's not even the best version, in my opinion. The version that he releases on his website that is off the album Artificial Heart, let me see if I can find... okay, so this is the Jokopedia. Let's go to justjonathancolton.com. So one of the things that he has is that he's got basically he's got big bundles of all his songs to download, but you can go listen to any of his songs. You can buy them for $1, but you can go listen to any of his songs on there's like the only ones that you can't get from here are the ones that he specifically like you can't get the official Portal and Portal 2 versions of Still Alive, and Want You Gone. Okay, so here we go. Artificial Heart, Nobody Loves You Like Me. So he does, in the official track, he does some extra stuff, some extra... It's the same basic thing, but he's got a little bit of extra layering in there, and it's just...
Here at the bar, who cares what I do? I'm all alone, but I'm drinking for two. Drowning the man that I used to be. Nobody loves you like me. I won't sign a thing, or else if I do, I'll use a pencil and that will...
Yeah, did you hear that drum beat? That just that faint... So he adds just little touches to that, and the vocal harmonies are a little bit more complex in this released version. So go find it, go listen to it. I fucking love this song. Just it makes the hair on my arms stand up every time I listen to it. But anyway, so the plugin that he uses, so it's a plugin, like a VST plugin or something like that for that you can use in any digital audio workstation. And what it does is it takes that input signal and it breaks it out. It pitch shifts it and roboticizes it a little bit. I forget what the technical term is, and breaks it out. So that's how you get that effect of when he's singing, how there's kind of that robot voice chord singing with him. But what it does, in order to figure out what chords to do, it takes MIDI input from another device. And so he used to do it where he'd do it on his iPhone, where he'd literally be on stage and he'd have his iPhone and he'd be basically switching between the chords on his iPhone, and that would be sending MIDI signals back into Ableton, which would then take those MIDI signals to tell that plugin what MIDI or what notes to break that out into. And so he could get some really, just by picking what chords he was using carefully, just get some really friggin' haunting melodies from doing that. And then he just had little additional grace notes, the drum beat to emphasize certain things, and it's just it is a masterclass on how to do a lot with very little, how to use one or two effects and use them very intelligently. So yeah, I mean, that's one of my aspirations, is to be able to make music like that one of these years. Eventually, I have some original music. Okay. So one of the things y'all get to look forward to, chat, back when I was in high school and I played piano by ear because I couldn't bother to sit down and practice and learn how to read music. And I still don't know how to read music. Like, I can pick through it and figure it out eventually. I can read tempo better than I can read notes, but I cannot sit down and sight read music. And one of the reasons I prefer guitar over piano, well, one, an acoustic guitar you can take damn near anywhere with you. Lugging a piano along is a little bit harder. But also guitarists tend to use tabs rather than sheet music, because we can play the same note so damn many ways. The tabs help us figure out exactly what fingering and voicings we're using, which traditional sheet music notation doesn't do. So... in high school, I wrote music. For my Spanish 3 class, we had to do a 3 to 5 minute spoken, basically write an essay and speak it or speech in Spanish. I convinced my teacher to let me do a song. And he's like, that's harder, right? And I said, yes. And I want to do it anyway. So I wrote a song in Spanish, not in English translated, but in Spanish. That was back when I could still speak Spanish. Apparently, if you learn something and then you don't use it, it leaks out of your brain. So I learned Spanish in high school and then promptly went and didn't use it for anything. And so I have only un poquito of Spanish left. I can basically order beers and ask where the bathroom is. And that's yell goals, goal, golazos. I I can kind of follow along when we get the occasional soccer broadcast on Univision for Univision Deportes for some of the stuff that U.S. Networks don't carry, some of the soccer matches. But for the most part, yeah, I've lost my Spanish, and I would like to get that back one of these years. But anyway, back to the point. So I wrote a love song for my Spanish 3 speaking project, and got to perform that in class. That was fun. There was a person a girl that I had a crush on in high school that I wrote a song for, and actually did it at a couple talent shows and stuff like that. And of course, eventually everyone in the school knew that who I'd written it for and wanted me to sing it. And for the longest time, that song was one of my biggest life regrets. Because, yeah, that was not a good crush. Did not handle the crush well. Did not handle that attraction well. Super yucky. And so for a long time, that song has just kind of been the bane of my existence, because it's a reminder of a person and a place that I do not like. Did not like being that version of me. But one of the decisions that I've made, when I made the decision several months ago to put this stream together and to do it for a year, and y'all are going to get to benefit from it. We're going to go drag back through that song, and I am going to play it for you. And that will be one of the projects that I record, that I put together in Ableton, and that we get some actual friggin' tracks down and proper vocals and everything. And I'm going to do it as kind of my one last hurrah to get that fucker out of my system once and for all, and reclaim it back from the symbol of cringe that it was to a more adult, elevated version of cringe. Listening to some of the music that's on the radio, it's not the best song in the world, but it's better than some of the shit that's out there playing already. So yeah, it'll be fun to go back and trawl through the pain and indignity of being in high school and reclaim some of that. And y'all are get to come along on that journey with me. I promise that won't be right away. That'll be a few streams down the road that we'll go do that. But something to look forward to. I will embarrass the hell out of myself for you. That's the kind of guy I am. All right, so anyway, back to Jonathan Coulton. So this song is just it tears your heart out if you read the lyrics and then you start arguing about the introductions, and like one of the things that I like about Jonathan Coulton's site is that you have the lyrics and then you have a discussion where they talk about not on that page, sorry. If I go to the main page, nope, shit. Okay. Anyway, you work your way around his site, and one of the cool things that you can do is see some of the discussions about each of the songs. Yeah, okay. I needed to turn notifications off. Okay, I need to remember that. Notifications off. All right, thank you. But you can see some of the discussions, and that's where I learned about the setup that he used, the plugin and all that kind of stuff, because he documented it there. And then there's also discussions about what the lyrics mean. And in this song, this is another one of those songs where it's very ambiguous. And his fan base is divided over what this song actually means, who the speaker is, what their situation is, what they're talking about. There's these lines like, I won't sign a thing, or else if I do, I'll use a pencil, and that will show you how nothing lasts, how nothing is free. Nobody loves you like me. What the hell is going on there? Is this a divorce decree that he's signing, or the speaker is signing under I shouldn't say he, shouldn't assume it's a male, that the speaker is signing under protest? Is it a do not resuscitate? Is there something going on there? Is this someone losing their significant other? And yet at the same time, at the end of the song, noises outside the last one, air in my lungs, a cough and a wheeze, holes in the bellows and blood on the keys. Okay, that wonderful imagery of I'm an accordion, I'm a broken accordion. Holes in the bellows, blood on the keys. Or are we talking about bellows for like an iron lung? You move along, there's nothing to see. Nobody loves you like me. Who died here? Because that really gives some strong death imagery. You move along, there's nothing to see. Did somebody die? Did somebody kill themselves? What's going on here? Who's moving? You move along. Are you moving along as in, oh, you're not interested in me, the speaker, anymore, and you moved along? Or did you move along as in you're the one who died and moved along, and what's left there of me, there's nothing to see? So many different interpretations, and this song is just, I mean, I've literally had chats about this song for hours, going back and forth about what the fuck is going on. And Jonathan Coulton is a mean man, because he never says definitively. He prefers not to define it. I don't even think he's decided, honestly. I think he deliberately did this, and there's an art. There is such an art in writing lyrics like this. I think Colton's a very underrated songwriter. I mean, in the geek community knows him pretty well because of Portal, Still Alive, the Portal 2 theme, Red Shirts that Jonathan Scalzi, if you're familiar with the author Jonathan Scalzi, he commissioned Jonathan Coulton to John Scalzi commissioned Jonathan Coulton to write a song for, basically gave him the concept of what he was doing his novel Red Shirts about, and had Jonathan Coulton write a song about it on his own take on that concept. So it doesn't directly map back to the book, but it's the same kind of concept from a different angle, and that's another fucking fantastic song. The guy does, he's just, yeah. Anyway, so I should be so lucky as to have, a quarter of the career that Jonathan has. But this is definitely big inspiration. So anyway, so here we are, many diversions later. So the thing about this one is, okay, so it's written in the key of F. Not a great key for my singing voice, but because Jonathan's canonical performance of this doesn't involve any instruments at all, I kind of feel like that gives us the freedom to do whatever the hell we want to do. I don't feel as bad about changing it to a different key, because there's no... So with the previous song that we looked at earlier in the stream, and why am I blanking on the friggin' name? Why am I blanking on the friggin' name? Oh, Gambler's Prayer. Okay. Gambler's Prayer, you've got that little... That little lick there to do. And that is pretty much... You're playing it in... If you're playing A, then you can just hammer on to the third and pick, and then switch to E. You're already playing A and E to do the da 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 A E. So you can just do the da da. So you can just alter it a little bit, and you get that little additional lick that repeats through the song and gives a little bit of additional fun. So changing keys in this one is a little bit harder, because now you're taking away some of the character of the song. You have to figure out what the corresponding is, and it's probably not as easy to play in many of the other keys you would think about changing it to. Nobody Loves You Like Me is a blank slate for this kind of stuff. There's no existing musical riffs or anything to use. It's all voice. So if you're going to do, which I'm going to, if you're going to do a musical interpretation of your own interpretation of this song, it's wide open, and there's fewer constraints about changing keys or whatever, because the whole point, there's a strong vocal performance that is a component of this song. So shift it to whatever key suits your voice the best. So here at the bar, who cares what I do? No, they have it here, the chords, because notice the chords are put up here by a fan, not by Jonathan. So here at the bar, he's playing. Okay, and I'm going to shift into the key of C. So F becomes C, C7 becomes G7. We'll deal with the others as we get there. So C here at the bar. He goes directly into a G7. Who cares what I do? And I prefer to go here at the bar to a G and then G7, so you get some of that movement to carry you in. So here at the bar, who cares what I do? So if you hear that movement coming down in, and then I'm all alone, but I'm drinking for two. And there's some transitions between the different chords that, specifically GCD, that you can do. So here at the bar, who cares what I do? G7, I'm all alone. And that, okay, so there's another point of discussion. Do I here at the bar? Who cares what I do? If I'm not going to go into the G7 immediately there, if I'm just going to go G, when do I kick into that G7? Here at the bar, who cares what I do? Now, I'm all alone. As I go into that next measure, that's kind of what I prefer, because who cares what I do? And then I'm descending a little further. The switch to the G7 pulls me down into that descent, and it just kind of reinforces that downward spiral that I feel like the speaker emotionally is going through here. So, here at the bar, who cares what I do? I'm all alone, but I'm drinking for two. Drowning the man that I used to be. Nobody loves you like me. I won't sign a thing, or else if I do, I'll use a pencil and that will show you how nothing lasts, how nothing is free. Nobody loves you like me. And I shouldn't stay. I think you'd agree. It's no good for you, no better for me in the morning. All right, so what I'm doing there, where here it says F, B sharp, that's obviously, if you're shifting down to C, that's C and F. All right, so I shouldn't stay. I think you'll agree. It's no good for you, no better for me in the... And now I'm going to C, so here where I'm playing C for no better for me in the... I'm going to C7, so just dropping my pinky down there on the 3rd fret on the on string 3. So it's that movement again that pulls us back into the next. So it's for you, no better for me in the and if my finger wasn't trained to go to the wrong one, so I just have to get it on the, tell my pinky to go on the right string. So no better for me in the morning. I'll go to a place far away, somewhere you... And so he goes here to C7, so never. G minor is so in this key, that's D minor. Find me. So he goes G7, C, D minor, G. And that's one way to do that progression. Somewhere you'll never find me. All right. Now, there's a different way to do that progression. We start getting into music theory. Somewhere you'll have... So dropping to the G or the G7 there is okay, but we can also go and I'll go to a place far away, somewhere you'll never. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how to do this progression here. Okay, so it was. So instead of this C there, where you never find me. But we'll stick with the progression he's got there for now until I go remember what I did, because I did it in the key of G, and I'll have to go back, recreate it, and transpose it. All right, so we'll pick that up when we come back to actually start laying down the scaffolding tracks, the backing tracks for this song in a future stream. All right, so somewhere you'll never find me, I catch a little thing that you say out on the fire escape, smoking all day, missing someone. Now who could it be? Nobody knows you like me. The noises outside, the trucks in the street will cover my flight, my hero's retreat. I'm supposed to feel bad, but I don't anymore. Only when you remind me. Air in my lungs, a cough and a wheeze, holes in the bellows and blood on the keys. You move along, there's nothing to see. Nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me. So yeah, there's a lot of, there's kind of a really blank slate, of open canvas for us to play with for our interpretation of it. And honestly, this one, so you're going to discover as we get to know each other over the next year through these streams, I have some very common preferences. If you were here at the beginning of the stream, you heard me greet everyone with greetings programs. I am a huge Tron nerd. Tron is like one of my favorite movies and intellectual properties of all time. I realize how fucking hokey it is. I don't care. I don't love it because of its realism, which is good. But just the aesthetic, the ideas, the age I was, the impressionable mind, the year that Tron came out was the same year that I really started getting into computing for the first time. And that kind of shaped the course of my life. My uncle, one of my uncles sent me a Timex Sinclair 1000 with the 16K kilobyte, yes, K, not M, not G, K, 16K RAM module expander, and a Radio Shack cassette player to use as the input-output device, and plugged into a black and white television that we got at a because it didn't do color, so it didn't need a color television, but a small little portable 9-inch black and white television that we got at a garage sale. And that was my first computer in my computing environment for several years until I stepped up to a Commodore 64 that I earned through doing like lawn mowing and other stuff like that. But so this is all, Tron and everything is all wrapped up into computing for me. And since I work in IT, I'm a big old nerd. I've got for one of my big problems is that pretty much every one of my hobbies eventually ends up getting computerized. I mean, and computing is no or music is no exception because digital audio workstation and audio interfaces, digital audio. So computers are in every aspect of my life. So that Tron is kind of one of those big aesthetics and for me, and so cyberpunk is another one of those genres that I really love, and so I'm hearing in my head, for this, if I can't, I don't want to even attempt to try to do what Colton did, because one, anything I could do would only be a pale imitation. But I can come at it from a different angle, and I definitely, if I'm adding music, I can definitely hear a more subdued vocal performance, and I can hear some of those smooth electronic cyberpunk informed sounds and beats and rhythms and layers and textures in the background. So I think that's probably the direction I'm going to go for this one. Again, if you guys have different ideas, I'd love to hear them. You can drop them in chat. If you have an idea later, all of my social media is on my Twitch page, so you can contact me there and give me an idea. So that's kind of the direction that I'm thinking on going for Nobody Loves You Like Me. Just kind of a cool. So I guess, I mean, in some ways that's still kind of the way Jonathan went with the very minimalist pared down a cappella with the effects and no instrumentation. So that kind of dehumanizes it slightly and kind of enhances almost the sense of emotional dissociation that the speaker is feeling. They're clearly overwhelmed and numbed by the emotions that they're processing or failing to process. And so there's that aspect of Jonathan's performance. And so I like that. I honor that, but I want to come at it in a different direction. And so I think doing that with some of the music layers will be a task I'm up to. So we'll find out together, and we'll see how well that direction goes. And then, as said earlier in the stream, Gambler's Prayer. We're going to take that, at least for now, the plan is to take that in the direction of the worship band from hell, the church, the vineyard worship band from hell. This heartfelt prayer, not realizing that it's escalating into more and more ungodly behavior. It's one of the things I love about this song is it starts off as a simple, it's 10 o'clock, I'm already busted out of my poker game, God, please just give me a little bit of help. And it moves from there into, I'm not even 10 and I'm busted again. Why does this happen to me? Well, it's because you suck at playing cards. That's why it happens to you. Give me a sign, show you care. A straight to the ace, Lord. Okay, yeah, straight to the ace. Good one. Or even a pair. Okay, not asking for much. Just a pair. I can't make it alone, and I'll sink like a stone unless you can undo what I've done. Okay, now's when we're starting to get into the God is a jukebox, God is a vending machine kind of thinking that permeates so many people's understanding of divinity. You don't talk to God unless you need something from God. And it's one of those attitudes that I'm not on board with. And I think it pervasively practiced provides a negative experience for a lot of people who might otherwise find something on offer that church communities can provide. I think this prevalence of cargo cult thinking in many religious communities poisons the well for a lot of the people, a lot of the good they could do. But yeah, this song just escalates through, lift me up in your tender embrace, lend me your wisdom, your strength, and your grace, help me to smash my opponent's fat faith. Is there anything more American Christian? So doing this as a worship song, as the cover of the worship band from hell, and then and it goes downhill from there. It just, at the end, we are making them regret for the rest of their lives the day that they bet their dogs and their wives. We're taking everything from them. We are. It might as well be Conan the American. Conan, what is best in life? To hear the lamentations of their women. Okay, all right. Thank you, Conan. Descend into barbarism, all dressed up pretty as a prayer. And yeah, so I want to play that up with the worship band feel to the song and go from there. So this is going to kind of be my personal monument to past people in situations who deserve some sort of commemoration, and so this will be the appropriate way to do it. All right. So with that, all right. So we've got a plan here for the next couple of streams, at least. Gambler's Prayer. Doing it as a worship band song, and Nobody Loves You Like Me, doing it as kind of a cyberpunk low-key techno. So to get an idea of the kind of sound that I'm looking for. And so right now, just because of licensing issues, and I've been hearing some rumors that Twitch is cracking down on license and content strikes and stuff, especially for smaller streamers, and you can't get much smaller than my stream. I'm going to adopt a policy of I am not going to play any media that is any established songs or anything like that where people could get pissy about it and do a content strike on me. So I will not play this next song on stream. You can go find it yourself. But the song Carly Rae Jepsen. Carly Rae Jepsen is a fantastic songwriter. You may not like pop, you may not like the kind of stuff she does. And that's cool. That's cool. But she's insanely talented. And if you listen to her music with a careful analytical mind, there's lots of stuff going on in even some of the most empty bubble pop of her songs. And her later stuff definitely moves beyond that. There's one of her albums that my wife and I listen to every now and then, like when we're on road trips or something, and we argue about which other pop singer style she's nodding to or not parodying, not imitating, but evoking. There's one of her albums where each song is in a slightly different style, and we can say, oh, that's Demi Lovato. Oh, that's, and it's kind of fun. So Carly Rae Jepsen has the ability to write hooks and stuff like few other people in the business do. And so she's got one song, and I forget which album it's on. I think it's Emotion or Emotion Side B. That is, it's called Cry. And that is, to me, almost one of her best songs ever. Just the feel of it, the texture of it. You listen to it, and you immediately can get in that emotional mood of that emotional disconnect she's talking about between her and the object of her love in the song. And so that's the kind of texture and feel that maybe some of the kinds of sounds that I'm looking for to go with Nobody Loves You Like Me. So if you feel like going and tracking down Carly Rae Jepsen, Cry, and listening to it, you'll kind of get an idea of where I'm being inspired and kind of where I want to take Nobody Loves You Like Me. So that's optional homework. There won't be a test. But if you want to go check that out, you'll kind of get a sneak peek of where I would like to take this song. So with that, sorry again about all the technical difficulties with Back for Blood. I really did want to get another session of playing that in, and just nothing. It wasn't cooperating today, so my apologies for that. Thanks for letting me ramble and fill in. We've only got about. I was planning on running until 2 o'clock. We've got about 18 minutes left. I think I'm going to go ahead and, with all the technical difficulties and the stops and starts and stuff like that, I think I'm going to say I'm not going to press my luck. I'm going to call it good. So I think I'm going to wrap up the stream. If there's any questions or comments from the three of you that are still left, or is it two and I'm one of them in the tab? Yeah, it's two and I'm one of them in the tab. Okay, I'm a dumbass. Shit. Yeah, I inflated my viewer count artificially by 50%. Okay. All right. So the two of you who are legitimately here in the chat, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, I'll keep it open for another couple minutes for you to provide that. Otherwise, I'm going to say we call it a day. Thanks for joining me on my very first stream. I'm feeling a lot less nervous now about doing this. I'm going to alter the schedule on the page. For now at least, I'm not going to stream on both Saturday and Sunday. Practical considerations. My wife and I are Seattle Sounders fans. We have season tickets, and we do have games, home games. Well, the next home game is August 29th, and that's in the evening. But realistically, my preferred day to stream is Saturday mornings, because that's my wife works. She manages the Lego store that I mentioned. Not an official Lego store. It's a third-party independent franchise that buys, sells, and trades Lego. So if you were here for the beginning of the stream and saw the Lego mod, you heard me talking about the bulk tables. If you find stores like these, you can go in and they have tables full of just loose Lego. You buy a container for a set price, you fill the container, and walk out after paying for it with the with whatever Legos you can pull from the bulk bin. But she works usually Saturday mornings to mid Saturday afternoon. So Saturday mornings are my preferred time to stream unless there's a Saturday game for the Sounders. We're going to be seeing about whether or not just depending on what kind of COVID restrictions come back into play. Some of the counties here in Washington are starting to step stuff back up as the caseload for Delta goes back up. So we may not be going to in-person, may not be allowed to go to in-person games again. But yeah, so generally the default going forward is going to be the Saturday morning streams, 10 to 2. Maybe if we get into it later and I get more comfortable, maybe even a little later, 3 or 4. But we'll get into doing that. Unless there's a Saturday midday game or some other event that I have to go to that takes up that time slot, in which case I'll switch it to Sunday on those days. But I am going to stream either Saturday or Sunday every week for the next year. That's the commitment that I made to myself to doing this. That's the commitment I'll make to you. Unless there's things like power outages, I'm sick, something like that, and I'll try to put as much warning on the channel as possible if that happens. So I haven't seen any feedback come back in, so I think that point, so it's 1:46. Y'all, I want to thank you so much. I walked into this and I truly was expecting, other than a couple of friends and family, I was expecting no viewers. and we've had a high watermark of, I think we're up to like 9 viewers at one point. And we lost some when I shifted out of the Lego and the music into the gaming, which is cool, especially given all the technical difficulties, and we never really regained most of that back. So I think that gives me some valuable feedback that maybe I should lay off a little bit of the plans to do the gaming and focus on more music content, which is good. I mean, that's the whole reason I put this channel together to begin with. So I think that is my long-winded way of saying thank you for being here for me as I'm starting off. And I hope to see you on my next stream. And thank you so much for coming. And I will talk to you next time.